Hello everyone and welcome to my video. We're going to be talking about the nature of ranked as it's currently constituted on MTG Arena. I've been talking about this a lot on stream, but I wanted to record a video for it, so I had all of my thoughts compiled in one spot so I don't have to keep doing the rant over and over again, and also just provide a forum where I can kind of like coalesce all of my thoughts on the various issues within the game into one thing, because I do believe they are to an extent interconnected. So for those who don't know, they released a patch pretty recently on MTG Arena that has ladder. Ladder is best of one games. Traditionally, Magic is played in best of three, getting to sideboard between games 1 and 2, games 2 and 3, adding a great deal of strategic depth to normal gameplay, and also making it so games do not have the same rock, paper, scissors paradigm that they do in other card games. At least it's heavily diluted with the existence of a sideboard. Anyone who has ground out ladder on Hearthstone, for example, knows that there's a lot of, well, I'm going to play this deck, I lose to deck Y, but do good against deck X, and hope we're going to play against deck X more often. And a lot of your efficiency in climbing on the ladder comes down to deck choice and not so much play within the game. And we are seeing that mirrored in the best of one ladder for Arena. Magic is a pretty variant game inherently. You can mulligan, you can miss land drops, and having all of that stressed on a singular game really brings all of that out to a degree that I have personally found pretty frustrating. It had me thinking, man, have game ones been this bad the whole time? Has it just gone by the wayside because you have two more games and like you forget about the first one? But it has generally not been conducive to the greatest experience in the world. And I think that that is the important thing. Certainly you could take issue with best of one not really being a good gauge of skill. It's not particularly good at doing that because, like we just talked about with the rock, paper, scissors nature of matchups, what happens within the actual game, not as important as the decks people chose when they went in. Pair that with the dynamic of ladders inherently rewarding time investment more so than performance, you end up with a ladder that is not really telling you who's doing particularly good or not. It's not really for that. My bigger concern is that it is just generating a bad experience for everyone involved. So we've heard the number a lot of 97% of games played in Magic Arena are in best of one. So it would make sense that they would want their competitive structure to take place in best of one. It appeases the majority of their player base. That makes a ton of sense. The thing is, best of one, as it was previously being played, was being played without stakes. It was being played because it was a quick and easy mode for someone to jump in, play the deck they want to play, do it in a low-stress environment, just not really care about the results of the game, focus more on the process, and have fun. Attaching stakes to that completely upends that paradigm and makes it so the reasons people were enjoying it previously are eroded. So someone who was playing best of one to play their ramp deck or whatever, and they just wanted to do that, now they're incentivized, instead of to do the thing they enjoy, be efficient, be better. Like play the better deck that lines up with the metagame, or what you'd think whichever one, rock, paper, scissors better. You are disincentivized to play the thing you want to play previously and change that in such a way that may make you enjoy the game less. So you are actually ruining the experience of the more casual players who are just trying to have fun with their deck, and also creating a format that is untenable for your invested players because they understand how heavily variant that best of one is and how much depth you're removing with the removal of sideboards. So best of one ladder kind of creates a format with no constituency. There's just not really a subsection of the community that wants that the way it is. So I would like to propose as an alternative that actually gives both sides, the casual and invested audience, something that they can enjoy and appreciate, and actually does, to some extent, help gauge skill and reward people for doing well in the game. So in my opinion, a ladder system, even though it has been the common way that these games have had their progression system function, I think it's just not really what you want to be doing, because, as I said before, it puts a heavy stress on time investment more so than performance. And when you are building a ranked structure, you would prefer performance to be the primary indicator of reward rather than time investment. So any system that is trying to determine rank should be looking at performance, not efficiency. Ladder looks at time efficiency. And conversely, people who are playing casually would prefer for their time to be rewarded. They may not be perfectly comfortable playing the game well yet, they may not do well, but as long as you're not really forcing them to care about that too much, they're still enjoying the game, they're still playing, so they're still getting better, like subconsciously, even though they may not be actively trying to do so. And then they will eventually get to the point where they can make the transition to the more competitive game modes after they're just like doing their best of ones or what have you, for their enjoyment and not really being put under a lot of stress to perform at a level that they honestly shouldn't be performing at yet. So what I would like to see happen is to have a baseline leveling structure put in place so that whenever you play a game of any mode, it doesn't matter, you get experience, and that experience levels you up, and then at each level you get some reward, be it individual cards or cosmetics, what have you. You can see systems like this function mostly in MOBAs like League of Legends and Heroes of the Storm, and it also serves as a way to gate content away from people who may not be ready for it. For example, you can't just turn on League of Legends for the first time and jump into ranked. You need to get to a certain level first. The game like runs you through the easier game modes or the more casual game modes, so it like knows that, okay, I understand how this works, I have enough heroes, in that case cards in this case, to compete at the level that those events expect me to compete at. So not only are you creating a system where everyone is always rewarded for their investment of time, especially new players, you're also solving the problem that they encountered with the constructed events, where players were being incentivized to enter events they shouldn't be because that's where the rewards were. If you make the rewards just for playing any game mode, just investing your time into the game, in a similar fashion to how daily rewards work currently, but expanded, then you also solve that problem in like killing two birds with one stone. So whether you agree with a system like this or not, I think it does still accomplish the important thing, which is putting the emphasis in the right place. New players should not have the results of their games emphasized. It should be about the process. It should be about playing and having fun. Results should be emphasized for the higher tiers of play, not for everybody. All that does is amplify the feel bad when you don't do well. And I'm certainly aware that this cuts both ways, that it also kind of prevents players from getting rewarded for doing exceptionally well. But in general, I think that you can still keep some amount of reward and like keep these feel-good moments, just not attach them so much to the results of the game on a per-game basis. Make the arc of the progression bigger, make it more about time investment, and you can still keep the pluses of a rewarding system, someone accomplishing goals, reaching milestones, getting rewarded for doing so, without the constant feel bad of when you lose, it feels like it's costing you a lot and you're now further behind and you need to win to compensate, and that whole thing. So it's about maximizing the potential for positive experience and minimizing the potential for negative experience. So then that would beg the question, what are you doing for ranked progression? And I think that there are a couple ways you could go about this, and again, I would prefer to avoid a ladder. One of my favorite ways to do this, and there are a bunch of derivatives of this, and you can choose which one that you want to do best exactly, but make it based on events, make it segmented. So one of the problems with best of three, and one of the reasons why I'm sure they're apprehensive to make a best of three ladder, is how time consuming it is. Best of three games obviously take longer than best of one games because there's 3 games instead of 1. It could be incredibly frustrating on a ladder to spend 45 an hour on a game and then lose and then spend another 45 minutes or an hour and then win, and you're neutral, you didn't do anything. Like, you just wasted the past 2 hours and you made no progress. That's pretty untenable. That doesn't work. So I understand why you wouldn't want to do that, and that's why I'd like to segment it. So you have it built on events in a similar fashion to how Magic Online currently works. If you 5-0 a league on Magic Online, you get a trophy. If you get X trophies, you qualify for the mocks. I think that system is honestly like pretty close to the way to go, where you can have it so those events are always running, just like leagues and just like the constructed events are currently running on MTGA. You can have it so you either get X trophies, or just getting one qualifies you for a weekend event, and then you would have the weekend event qualify you for a like end of the month event, or you could have just an end of the month event. There's a lot of different ways you could have it so the burden of the competitive grind is not forcing people to invest incredibly large amounts of time, but have things focused more on performance, as it should be. It's for determining rank, not determining how long you sit in front of a computer screen. So you can choose kind of where you want the path to lead. You could have the daily events bleed into weekend, bleed into monthly, or daily bleed into monthly, or just weekly bleed into monthly. There's a lot of things you could do. Eternal, for example, has a weekend league similar to Madden and FIFA, actually, where when the weekend starts, like on Friday or Thursday, you have this league unlocked, and you could play 20 games, whatever the correct number would be for best of 3 matches, whatever you determine, probably in the ballpark of 20. You play those over the course of the weekend, and then at the end of the weekend, the people who had the best record would then qualify for another event or get some kind of pro point type thing, however you want to denote their accomplishment in that event. And then doing well in all of those weekend events qualifies you for a month event. The monthly event could qualify you for the Mythic Invitationals. I think that is a much better system than the ladder. There's just so many inherent problems with the ladder. The time investment, at the top, like you end up with people camping and staying up at nights. Like, should I play? Should I not? If I play and I lose, I get blown out. But if I sit here and then someone passes me at the last minute, like, that's like all abject nonsense that shouldn't be part of someone's calculus when they are like trying to qualify for an event. It'd just be like, I did well. I did better than most people. I should be rewarded for that. It should just be that. It shouldn't be all these other nonsense calculations that people have had to go through in Hearthstone and stuff. Hearthstone's actually changing their system because of this nonsense. So I think that the best path forward is to just not even go with a ladder. I understand that that's like kind of the easy way out, and it's what people have done before. It feels safe, but there are just a lot of fundamental problems with how a ladder works that make it antithetical towards gauging a player's skill. And I understand that one of the biggest things you lose when you cut a ladder is the posterity ranks, like Legend and Mythic. Reaching those are fairly big accomplishments for a lot of people, even if, in the case of Magic at least, they are actually denoting too much. The perception is that they are. So having a rank that elicits that feeling is important, or having some achievement that elicits that feeling is important. I just don't believe that it needs to be the top of a ladder. I think you could do things through achievements weaved into the leveling system. Whoever has the most wins with the Gruul deck is like the Gruul champion, and do that with all the other colors. Or in Ravnica, there's a lot of thematic things you could do there with color identity. You could have it based on win rate with the events, person with most trophies. There's a whole bunch of ways you can still keep that level of posterity without buying into the ladder system and all of the problems with it we have outlined herein. So if you have any other suggestions, if you liked my suggestions, be sure to let me know. I'll be talking about this on stream all week, I am sure. So thank you all for watching the video, and I will see you on stream. Have a good day.